Here we are.
That was a Monday.
We made it.
Monday's been Mondaying around here. We're a little late. I would like to say you can set your clock here to Lancaster Connects live Monday at 2 o'clock every week here from Gardeners, Mattress and More, bringing you great people, helping Lancaster go around and do great things. And we've got some great guests here today with something I didn't even know existed.
I had no clue until we set up this show.
We were challenged like, well, now Lancaster's going to know, so we have to do a great interview.
We can deliver.
We can. It's going to be hard for me. I got to pick myself up, dust myself off after yesterday's football outings.
Oh, brother.
It was what I knew was going to happen, but hoped wouldn't happen, but did happen. And midway through the third quarter, I was resigned in the first half, and midway through the third quarter at home, I unleashed.
Yeah.
And I came up with a great term that I'm going to continue to use. When you say I had a brain fart, right? Well, I'm just going to say this much about the Eagles. It seemed in the second half, they manifested a pipe from their rear end up to their brain pan. And we're just piping in these hot takes of coaching.
That's what they were doing
in the second half.
Are you both Eagles? You've got kind of like the Eagles green on.
I was going to say, I'm not ready to talk about it yet.
All right. Yeah. So
too soon.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's how I process grief. I talk through it.
It's all good.
Through it sometimes.
I'm sure you've got a Cowboys joke that'll just turn the day right around.
Well, look, we're all now at home watching in the living room, figuratively. But no one in the NFC East can sit on the couch with us. They all got to sit on the floor.
Watch their VHS tapes.
That's right. So anyway, this show is not about breaking down Wild Card Sunday. I hope your team did well. If it was still in, of course, Cowboys fans, haha, you weren't in at all. And so here we are, ready to kick off the show from Lancaster Connects. We've got some great guests from Lancaster Medical Heritage Museum, but as is per usual, right here from Gardeners Mattress and More, my mattress buying hit for you is we're coming in sight of President's Day, right? We're now trending in the back half of January. It's funny to say that. It feels like we just had the holidays, and we're talking about February. The candy hearts have been out in the grocery stores. That means it's President's Day. And here's my tip. At least in our business, you're looking at the two people that put it all together. We had a meeting right here at this table earlier. We largely know what those offers are going to be for President's Day. If you're waking up bad now, don't wait another month till President's Day. Come in and invest in yourself now. We'll be able to give you those savings. We'll be able to give you those specials. And, if something does turn on that we weren't expecting, we'll honor that, because that's what's nice. And when you call 717-299-6228, it's not press 1, press B, press option 27 to find a manager.
Gosh, yeah.
You're talking to people that can help you. And so, if you're waking up sore, you're waking up stiff, don't suffer a month in pain to save an extra $100, because that's really what it might be. Maybe.
Yeah. So
we'll be able to help you out. So I like to share that in view of these holidays, because sometimes folks get so focused on, gotta wait for the holiday, for the holiday.
Right.
Just not the case.
We can help you navigate in advance of.
Yeah, our team's great at that. And when you look at our reviews, you'll see that. You'll see the value we deliver and how our team helps navigate that. And speaking of values, we're going to have our guests, before they get formally introduced, they're going to deliver you here in Lancaster, our watchers of Lancaster Connects, this week's special. So I'll turn it over to our
There's the wheel.
And remember that sleep is good for your health. So spin that wheel.
Love it.
Man, the bar, we had to cheer last week. That was the great transition this week. I feel bad for next week's guest. And what is it? Oh, this is a good one. Another good one. Free delivery, second week in a row.
That's right.
Yeah. That's real value. Free delivery. So 5-star in-home service, but now it's on us. So anybody watching, like I said, if this is the week, see, look, we just delivered you more savings.
$129 worth.
Imagine that. So that's the special. Just mention it when you shop, and our team will take care of it.
Words are tough. We get it.
Yeah.
It's Monday.
It's like that. We should have run inside zone when we ran outside,
right.
Vice versa. Yeah. So,
just to mention our device here. Chris, our producer, is sending us a new microphone and headset device that has an expanded button. Sound button, and it has a sad trombone. So when you mess up words, we can do the sad trombone. And because I don't think any of these here would apply, but
no, these are all happy ones.
Right, but the sad trombone, that's actually.
Wow, we got that one in quotes.
Yeah, you've got a whole
rim shot. Yeah, I got a cheat sheet. So I can't wait to see what the new cheat sheet is.
I hope there's like 30 buttons.
Yeah, well, there'll probably be 8, and that's the depth of the Eagles play call list.
Oh, sorry.
Why don't you introduce our guest?
Let's find out who we have in studio today.
On that note.
Yeah, so it's good.
Wonderful producer, Chris Stone at Cast Ahead Productions. Thank you, Chris, for the sad trombone. All right, so in studio today, we've got the Lancaster Medical Heritage Museum. We've got Erin Plotcher, is that right? Who is the executive director, and Shawn Gallagher, who's the president of the board of the Lancaster Medical Heritage Museum. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, we mentioned we're not familiar. There may be many watching and listening who might not be familiar with what the Lancaster Medical Heritage Museum is. Who'd like to tell us about the creation of the museum and what it is?
The roots go back to the Edward Hand Medical Heritage Foundation, which was founded by some local doctors, most notably Paul Ripple, who was a local ophthalmologist, historian, prepared a lot of papers and stories about the history of medicine in Lancaster. Some of them even delightfully include illustrations that he did. And so it started off with collectors of artifacts as well as collectors of local stories. In the fairly recent past, we had some space at the Burrell Industrial Park, where some people, if you're Lancaster local, you might recognize that as the old RCA building. Oh. And we got our first museum space there. So we had the small footprint and a space to display some of the artifacts. But of course, it's kind of off the beaten path. Sure. And of course, with the size of the park, it was difficult to locate. Sure. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a massive complex.
Yeah, it is a complex. And 3 years ago, with the generous support of Lancaster General Hospital, we now have space on the ground floor at the corner of Lemon and Lime, 410 North Lime Street. Okay. And we have even more museum space. And the artifacts are on display, the stories are on display, and we have a motivated group of physicians and educators and just people who are passionate about Lancaster and medical history. And a year ago, we brought Erin Plotcher on board to direct the museum in person.
That's so cool. And how did you become involved?
Bart Halpern was is an ophthalmologist, retired ophthalmologist, and I worked with him as a medical tech some 30 years ago. Yeah. And he and I became fast friends. We both have a passion for history and tech, and he was on board with the Medical Heritage Museum long before I was. I mean, I have to say, Erin and I are, we're latecomers. We're kind of standing on the shoulders of giants. We've had a lot of people who've been contributing. I've only been very actively involved for about 3 years. So we've kind of inherited all of the momentum and all of the things that they accomplished before we arrived on the scene.
And Erin, how did you become involved? Like, what led you to give your time to this organization?
Yeah, so a lot of my background is in history. I have an undergrad and a master's degree in history, specifically American history. And just over the course of my career, I found that I really enjoyed working with the people more than necessarily the artifacts. I still love doing all of the artifacts, the preservation, managing collections, things of that nature. But being able to watch people learn and, being able to attach the human stories to those artifacts really became more and more of a passion of mine. So when, the opportunity presented itself, I kind of, jumped on it. I never actually thought that I would be in anything close to the medical history field. But I love learning and I love the challenge of something new. So this has been a really fun adventure for me to kind of put two and two together. So the history side and then, the medical side as well. And our board and Shawn and all of our volunteers have been wonderful in kind of holding my hand through the medical side of it. So
very cool. Very cool. So this is a museum that people can walk through.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the hours? And I know you said the where it is, but maybe some just details on how somebody could visit and what their experience might look like.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are open Tuesdays by appointment only, and then open for walk-ins Wednesday through Saturday from 11 to 3. We also have extended hours on First Fridays as part of the Lancaster tradition.
First Friday extravaganza.
Yep. So
It's very popular.
We're open from 4 to 8, and you can come and spend an evening at the museum, the museum after dark, different things like that. And we try to have some different events and things that are going, hopefully into 2026, we're looking at maybe adding things like escape rooms and different events that can bring people in and give them a little bit of a different kind of museum experience.
Very cool. Probably not striving for hands-on house-like experience, right? I saw this. Was it a scarifier?
Yeah.
Yeah, not good for a hands-on house-like experience.
It depends when you were last bled.
Right. Yeah. Well, so Ben always prepares the questions, and I'm like, oh, squirrel, look at this. And so I'm just going to ask, what level of quackery and display of like medical quackery of the late 1800s into early 1900s is part of the museum, if at all?
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a bit. The thing I always say is, everything in medicine has kind of had to start somewhere, right? So, we have a collection actually that was curated by one of our summer interns. That was her focus specifically. So we have 2 cases in a collection that focuses on, the theories behind it and then the actual physical items and, the advertisements that came through with them as well. And, a lot of it is, I want to say, based in, like it sounds good, it sounds right, but the execution portion of it is not as great. Scarifier being an example, like if somebody is swollen, sure, bleeding them might, be a good option, but really wasn't great for their health,
I don't even know what that is.
Elevation and ice might be better.
Right.
The scarifier, it's just a device that has retractable blades, and you just cut people and bleed them. If you bleed
I'm glad
somebody,
that's not used anymore.
We have a lot of electrical devices too. Mm-hmm. People thought that electricity would cure everything 150 years ago. Mm-hmm. You hear the original Frankenstein story is the lightning is going to bring everybody to life, and so we have a number of electrotherapy mm-hmm. devices. We have a very nice, one of my favorite items, very nice replica of Walter Freeman's lobotomy tools. Mm-hmm. So the story of lobotomy falls in there, which 50, 60 years ago was not seen as quackery.
Right. Wow.
So it's an opportunity to learn how we're learning. Let's put it that way.
I could make an Eagles offensive joke.
Let it go. Yeah, Elsa. On this topic,
Somebody that I've studied more for the marketing and advertising of it, Dr. Alfred Brinkley. Does that name mean anything to either of you?
I'm afraid not.
No.
So this, I don't know that he was a doctor. That's what his given moniker is. Mm-hmm. At least his given moniker behind at the time, what I think, and I have to look at the reference material I have, was I think 30,000 watts of radio power. Mm. So this guy started his own homeopathic resort retreat, very common back in the early 1900s, right? Like Ephrata, not the cloisters, totally opposite thing. but the Mountain Hilltop Inn in Ephrata was like a homeopathic resort, long since gone. Applebee's is there now. But Alfred Brinkley broadcast from this resort with 30,000 watts of radio power, the cure for virility for men. And his whole theory was grafting virility part. I'm trying to keep it PG here.
I'm just you can see where this goes.
Virility part from goats.
Oh my gosh, that's
To
interesting.
men, so they could produce a family. And this guy was like multi-millionaire in
Wow,
the 20s and 30s.
that's wild.
Maybe even a little earlier. Yeah. Just really wild. And I can't wait to see what our reels produce out of it. This could be-
Number one moment from the show,
yeah, yeah.
goat virility.
But like you said, a lot of it was based in thought and maybe logic.
Yeah.
You knew what you
And
knew at the
application,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny. One of the funniest things I find about it is we have a box of Lydia Pinkham's vegetable compound, which when you look at the ingredients is just a multivitamin, is pretty much all it is. And I always find it funny that, of course it lists all of the things that it could possibly cure on the back. So like, anything from like, oh, it'll give you energy to, oh, it'll cure your really terrible disease. And, do amazing things for your mental health. But it's funny because, a lot of times now I'll walk into CVS and, it's just the same multivitamin on the shelf now. And the odd thing is that people probably were really crazy for it because it did make them feel better because they weren't getting, a lot of vitamins at the time. So, it's a lot of it is rooted in, kind of guessing.
Yeah.
But, in that case, maybe guessing correctly.
Yeah. Well, going back then, if you weren't on a farm growing your own vegetables,
right?
If you were poor and money was tight and you didn't have a horse and wagon, where would you get vegetables from?
Soup, stock, and bread.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And so makes perfect sense. Yeah. Interesting. I like that we went there. Probably not where you all wanted to go.
Oh, we'll go anywhere.
Is this
Back to-
is this museum unique to Lancaster? Like, are there other like similar museum experiences in other communities, or is this a unique experience here in Lancaster?
I would say it's definitely unique. And I think a lot of times the people that come in and visit really oftentimes compares to the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia. And it's not quite correct. The same general field, medical, but our museum is definitely more focused on the evolution of technology. Obviously, we still try to connect to the human side of things as much as we can, but I think, the Mutter is definitely more of like the human anatomy side of it. We're definitely more of the technology. And honestly, I don't know if there's any other museums, at least in our area, that showcases what we do.
We see it all the time on this show, like unique things that just kind of exist in Lancaster.
Yeah.
Created and provided for the inhabitants of Lancaster County. Really cool.
So I'll ask each of you, what's your favorite exhibit in the museum?
Good question. You first.
It's like picking a favorite child. Like it's so difficult. I want to say we have a working iron lung, and that one is definitely one of the biggest draws. I think, and a lot of people when they come in, they say like, "Oh yeah, we're here because we saw you have a working iron lung online." So that one is definitely the most popular. But I love the way that exhibit pulls in multiple different stories. So it's not just, the iron lung and polio. You're also talking about like vaccines and infectious diseases. So then you're pulling in, topics like the Marietta vaccine farm, and, how that started with smallpox and, how that kind of snowballed into what we see with vaccines today. And, then on the other side, you have an exhibit that showcases specifically polio, but pulls in a few items that were donated by the polio survivors and support group that I believe they're local.
Mm-hmm.
And highlights individuals out of that group. So, for example, we have a donation of a leg brace that was used by a now a woman, but when she was a child, she was the Lancaster County poster child for polio. And, she was kind enough to donate her leg brace to us after seeing the exhibit and, wanting to be a part of it. So it's, it is its own, standalone object, but it pulls in so many different stories from a lot of different places.
Very cool.
Mine would be we have a Coolidge X-ray, and this was one of the first one of the first safe, effective X-ray devices, and it's probably made in somewhere between 1915 and 1920. And a shout out to Tech Lancaster, who let me come in and do a talk to their group on the Coolidge X-ray and the history of X-ray. So you can find that probably on their YouTube page. I love talking about that because the development of medicine goes in two phases. The first phase is discovery and explanation. People understood what heart attacks were long before anybody could treat a heart attack.
Right.
Similarly, people were able to use, there's a great photo of things. Similarly, people were able to use an X-ray and say, oh, look inside that person's body. Oh, their bones are broken, before the treatments got good. But because you were able to look inside, you could see which treatments were working. You could see somebody pre-treatment, post-treatment. Also, for finding bullets, X-rays were a game changer when it came to gunshot wounds. So there's the Coolidge X-ray. This was an X-ray that could be wheeled through a hospital and placed over a patient's bed, and it was very versatile. And it's one of many devices that we have at the museum that incorporates. I love it when you can see the technology of the time. You have the X-ray tube and all the fanciness that goes with, but also you have wooden craftsmanship. Because before we had manufacturing that could, bend steel and aluminum in a factory, the people who were developing medical tech had to work hand in hand with carpenters. Yeah. And some of the devices just look, they would look perfectly good in your living room because the woodworking is so nice.
That's interesting. Like today's devices, you just see a big box, right? Mm-hmm. You don't see any of what actually makes it work, but there you see everything.
I was looking at it like, that's it. I was expecting this like almost refrigerator sized thing.
Mm-hmm. We have another one that's right, about that. That's nice. Specifically a dental X-ray, but much more along those lines. And it looks something like we mentioned Frankenstein earlier. It looks something straight out of a Frankenstein movie, but significantly less movable, obviously due to its size.
So adjacent to your comment about medical and doctors and practice, and then aligning with craftsmen. So maybe some of you all listening, watching, maybe you know this, but furniture stores, do you know this? Furniture stores were often spurred out of funeral homes.
I didn't know that.
Funeral stores. Mm-hmm. Because, the same craftsman to make a casket could make a dresser, could make a kitchen cabinet,
makes
a vanity.
A ton of sense, yeah.
Yeah, and actually in Salem, New Jersey, I think the family is still in business. So Salem, New Jersey is a cool little town because it feels like you wouldn't think of this in New Jersey, but it feels like you're stepping back to the times we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But they literally have family-owned furniture store and then a family-owned funeral home adjacent. And I think they're on 6th generation now, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's your more Frankenstein looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
I'm sorry. First of all, you got a shout out. I don't know if you know Skater Rager, but She commented during the show, said, "That's my sister."
Uh-huh.
So I'm assuming you know that person.
Yep.
So you got a fan watching. Thanks for watching, Skater Rachel. I don't know your real name, but
Rachel.
All right, that makes sense. Is this a kid friendly? Like, do you have schools that come through here? And
Yeah.
What, like, is there an age that's too young to go through here? I'm just curious.
No, I think, pretty much it's accessible. Our goal ultimately is to make it accessible to people of all ages. It's one of those things where I don't know, if you brought a very small child, if they would have a full understanding of what they were looking at. And we try our best to make, things more hands-on. Again, one of our goals for 2026 is to provide more hands-on, approaches to different things so that people have the opportunity to interact with some of the exhibits anyway.
I would think kids would find that stuff cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
and then others will be looking like to swipe up and hit the home button.
right.
Yeah.
We also are working on adding a couple more bits of technology to it as well to make it a little bit more interactive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we have school age children coming through, and a really wide variety. So, anything from a lot of times, I think it's middle school and high school, and then college age students as well. We recently had a college level class that they were doing advanced anatomy. So they came through and, kind of looked through everything and had a really, really good time. And then we also have homeschool days, usually every couple months on a Tuesday, and that's aimed more towards children 6 through 12. So there's, a lot of a different approach there, but we're looking more on, providing both unique and also general high level information for them. So, and as they said, unique ways of allowing them to kind of interact and learn about medical history, specifically in Lancaster, and creating some activities that, kind of spark the imagination.
Yeah, neat.
Is it self-guided, or do you offer tours? Are there people there to explain the exhibit, or is it?
Yeah, so we are so lucky. We have a lot of wonderful volunteers. So usually at least once or twice a week, we have 1 or 2 volunteers that are in. I'm in there pretty much every day that we're open. And I'm always happy to give a tour. But I kind of leave it up to the person or the group of people. I think, some people like to walk through on their own and just be able to kind of digest the information as they go. And then other people want the more personable experience. They want to hear about each of things. So, I always kind of leave it up to them, but I'm always happy to give a tour. And a lot of our volunteers are retired medical staff. So anytime they're there, I'm always kind of like pointing to them because they're such a good resource for learning. So yeah, it's up to you whenever you come in.
And is there a cost?
That was my question.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about.
Yeah.
How's that?
So it's $8 per person on a regular day, $5 for students with a student ID, and then any child below, is it 3? Is free?
I don't know. I forget.
It's on our website.
I don't have a certain age.
There you
Yeah.
go, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris has got it.
Yep. And
Chris,
then
are you still there? I'm just kidding.
on First Fridays, we have a $5 discount. So that's a good opportunity for you to get in at a discount.
Yeah.
Nice. So like those groups, like the college group that came in for their advanced class, the homeschool groups, do they pay a per person thing, or is there like a fee?
We also have group rates too. So, and especially usually if it's a student, it's the student rate for the whole group. But yeah, we try our best to accommodate, and we're looking again into more of, moving into 2026, trying to make it more accessible and possibly providing a like pay what you want, kind of like the Philly Art Museum does that, I believe, on Sundays. So being able to intermittently do that.
Servant stage.
Yeah.
Servant stage.
Pay what you want model.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might check them out. They were on our show
2 weeks ago. just before Christmas, I think.
Yeah. And they have a pay what you want model. And that model for at least 10 years, maybe longer,
10, yeah, at least 10.
has always put their operation in the black. So they've never had financial emergencies.
Yeah.
Just might be something to look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
From being on the show. And that's the kind of connections we make here at Lancaster Connects.
Look at you.
So you do that. You just
Don't leave me hanging
all the time.
Hanging.
I used to do it all the time. It's just supposed to be there. Like, look at this pro who couldn't work his mic to start. Anyway, I digress. Just on that note of programming, like if a college or any group of individuals will say, we want you to focus on this kind of programming, like not go get another iron lung display, but can you curate and complement this part of our class?
Yeah.
Like would you or your volunteers like help create that curriculum?
Absolutely. So whenever anybody books, especially a group tour for a school or they have something specific in mind or a specific theme, in my conversations with them, I always encourage what is it exactly that you're looking for, for the advanced anatomy class, like let's tailor it more to that side of things rather than maybe focusing on, the technological side of it. So usually it's part of my process when I'm booking those tours is reaching out, what is it that you would like to learn? Would you like to just, do a general walkthrough, or is there something specific that you're looking at? And I've gotten a wide variety of answers that we've been working through. So, and we do that with our homeschool days as well. So I always, try to ask for feedback, and we've gotten a lot of really good feedback. So one of the biggest things that we've heard from people is like a microscope. I'm trying to think of the word, like how to use a microscope, and then being able to walk through like what it is you're looking at in terms of like a cell and cellular structure and different things. And
where's the nuclei?
Yeah.
I remember that from Norman.
Yeah, pretty good.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's great.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Okay, that one I forgot about. I know the word, but I forgot about that entirely.
Yeah, and shout out to Diane and Nancy who do a great job of putting together curricula for our young visitors and keeping them entertained and helping to bridge the stories between what they might understand and what they're seeing around them. Because although we welcome kids at all ages, some of it might not be terribly accessible to them. And so our volunteers do a great job of helping them appreciate a lot of the artifacts and a lot of what the museum has to offer.
Is that the same Nancy that commented on the show here?
It is.
That's 3571.
Hey, Nancy.
That's my mom.
All right. Hey, Mom. She says, great information. Hi, Erin and Shawn. So thanks, Nancy, for tuning in.
Nancy was a bonus when we got Erin on.
Oh, awesome. What are some reactions that people have when they come through that like maybe you didn't expect? Like they were maybe wowed by something they saw there, or
I think a lot of it is surprise. And I think the biggest or the most common feedback we get was, number one, I didn't know this was here. And number two, like, wow, I didn't know how involved Lancaster was in terms of like medical history. Okay. And I think that's probably the most surprising thing about the museum is, just whenever you think of Lancaster, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Agriculture, cows, maybe the Amish and Mennonite communities.
Gardener's Mattress and more.
Gardener's Mattress and more.
Again. Just supposed to let it be, man. Have some chill.
But it's not like medicine and medical history is not really, I don't think, at the forefront of people's minds when they're here. And even people who live here don't really think that either. But Lancaster has a tremendous amount of history in the medical field and has been fairly revolutionary in it as well. Again, noting something like the Marietta Vaccine Farm.
Yeah, talk about that.
So basically, I don't know, you might have to fill in a little bit for me.
Go ahead.
Basically, during the smallpox era, people started noticing, at least out in Marietta, Pennsylvania, that their milkmaids, when smallpox would move through their communities, that their milkmaids would not often get smallpox, and kind of put two and two together. And, what they were discovering was that the milkmaids were actually being inoculated through interactions with cows by cowpox, which, is a cousin to smallpox. Right. So
just by milking the cows.
Yeah. Well, and being around, being around them, being in the barn, and of course, if you're milking the cows and you have cuts on your hands or, anything like that, you're essentially getting inoculated automatically. And they just kind of put two and two together there, and we're like, oh, we can use farm animals like cows and horses to help inoculate and what eventually became, vaccinate people for smallpox. And essentially that snowballed into the Marietta vaccine farm, where they were using farm animals to create vaccines for smallpox. And that was a massive operation that, I don't think a lot of people know a lot about. But
and what time in history was this?
Late 17, early 1800s.
Yeah.
And this is a story you tell in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Laid out.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And there's also a small vaccine farm museum in Marietta itself too. So please check that out too.
Yeah. But it was wild.
Any that existed.
Yeah. Here, Bessie. Let me save my life.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, that's not too far from how it happened.
Right. Vision. Like, hey, we figured this out.
Yeah. William Attlee was one of the first. He was a Lancaster physician. Was one of the early presidents of the American Medical Association. The journal Science was published out of the Science Press in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
There are just so many stories about the importance of Lancaster and the in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, and what is the Brethren House was one of the first hospitals during the Revolutionary War, and it was one of the first places where the physicians of the time got together and tried to create a library of understanding for medicinal herbs. What treatments do we have? Let's see if we can collect them together and publish a dictionary on the available medical treatments. So there's a lot.
So two questions. What's the oldest story you tell in the museum, and what's a story you might be telling that you're not telling now in 2026?
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Diane can bridge Native American medicine to what's going on in the museum better than any of us can.
Yeah, that I was going to say that would probably a lot of what we're looking at is, of course, colonial.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think what the oldest
or close to oldest.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the Pennsylvania German tradition. We have
that's a good one.
We have a large display of what's known as Scherenschnitte art, which is based on paper cutouts of silhouettes. So you cut out a paper silhouette and then you dip it in ink and then you press it. And all of our displays are of medicinal herbs that were recognized by early Pennsylvania German settlers.
So we're talking like 1600s?
Probably 16 to 1700s, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And the stories that we want to tell, well, we have so many artifacts, and we have, again, much thanks to Michael Barber and Lancaster General and the space they've offered us. We've been granted a little bit of room to expand. So we are now thinking of what do we add now, and what can we bring out of the archives and tell a story with. I think we could tell more of a cardiology story than we are currently telling. We have a very good ophthalmology story. We have a very good dentistry story. We have a very good family medicine story. We have a very good epidemics and vaccine story. So you can just go down the list of medical specialties that I haven't hit yet, and there's an artifact story in urology to tell,
Mhm.
which just so many different ideas.
Like if you had double the space, you could.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I think moving into 2026, focusing more on stories and individuals is really going to be one of our biggest goals.
That's cool.
One of the things that we can look forward to is up and coming is we recently received a donation from the Lancaster Cleft Palate Clinic. And they've been around for a really long time. They're new to us, but they've been around for a really long time, and the work they do is just absolutely, again, something that I think would surprise people is amazing. And they're really one of the only organizations in the country and possibly the world that operate the way that they do. And their facility is awesome. If you ever have a chance to go in and look around, they cover, pretty much everything from, if you are pregnant and your child has a cleft palate, going in, being able to start in utero with care, prepping moms and families on, how to tackle some of the challenges that they're going to have after that child is born. And, I think it's fair to say that what they do is really actually life-changing, especially for the children involved and the people involved as well. So I'm really excited to add that to our museum as well.
So interestingly enough, I actually just talked with Chad earlier today here in our store. So we have all different kinds of goodwill things that happen here because of our business. And one of our vendors, Posh and Lavish, who Ben and I are flying to Nashville later this week to check out some new things. They, through our purchases as a company, sponsor children abroad for cleft palate surgery. We have 3. They stopped sending the plaques because I think they said to themselves, we can spend money on plaques to pat ourselves in the back, or we can just direct the money of all these plaques we bought to another surgery a year or more. And so that's what they started doing. So they did that for a few years, but they stopped. But they still donate their profits, portions of their profits to that. So just kind of an interesting full circle moment there where it really helps a lot of people. And so we're happy that they do that. And, when you buy here, you're helping that. And it's important, as you said. So very cool.
So for somebody who's never visited, what would you tell them that's going to get them to come through the door?
Ooh.
I mean, I think I'm intrigued. I would love to visit and learn the history. But
tell, you're like bubbly.
Hey,
I think again, going back to just like some of our items, I can confidently say the dental X-ray machine. I believe that is one of 2 that we know of in the world. The other is at a university in Australia.
Yeah, you're not getting there.
So we do have a couple items, I think, that are probably one of the few that exist still. But I think, if you just have a general intrigue in learning how medicine has developed, and, if you would like to gain a new appreciation for how, medicine is, handled today, I definitely recommend coming in. It will definitely give you a new appreciation. That X-ray, by the way, you had to sit for about 20 minutes to get a dental X-ray.
Yeah.
Shawn, what you said earlier kind of hit me. Like, you knew that a heart attack was something that could happen, but nobody knew how to treat it. Like, and we don't think about anything like that today. It's like, oh, you got an illness, you have something going on. There's always
it always feels like there's something to do. Yeah.
Right.
Or at least some kind of action to take.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But Drew was having a heart attack here, 6 years ago this summer. Like right out there.
Yeah.
For hours. And then went to the doctor, like, you need to go to the hospital. And then later that night, he's in surgery and better.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
At quintuple bypass.
So, going through the museum would really give you a greater appreciation of what people 200, 300, 400 years ago had to deal with.
Yeah.
And things like that happen. Because Nowadays, it's like, oh yeah, I can just get that fixed.
Or look at dentistry.
20
It was
minutes.
like you have an abscess, you're just pulling the tooth,
Right.
and you were happy for it because that might be a life-saving action.
Right.
You weren't gonna repair the tooth, and so that little bit of knowledge that, well, I can't treat this, but at least I can pull the tooth, and so little baby steps.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Ben's very bubbly. He's excited. And I say that intentionally. So we got Valentine's Day coming around. You got things people might want to do. It's the doldrums of winter.
Mm-hmm.
You're downtown Lancaster. And again, kudos and shout out to Lancaster General Hospital for donating the space. Is that?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. They're great supporters.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we know what real estate costs
Mhm.
and runs monthly. So that's a tremendous thing that LGH is doing for the community. So kudos to them. I just wanted to shout that out for sure. So you're downtown.
Mhm.
So let's phrase it this way. Let's build a fun day date into an evening. How would you each build that in your own way? Stopping at the museum first, because it was 11 to 4 each day, right? Or 11 to 3?
11 to 3, yeah.
11 to 3.
Except for the Friday night.
Except for, okay, so we can have a somebody can take first Friday night date with the museum involved.
Absolutely.
So,
And if it's cold, Erin will have hot cider ready for you.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
okay.
We do. We try to serve seasonal beverages.
All right.
Very cool.
Great.
Very cool.
Ooh. So are we including any places we want to go in Lancaster?
Yeah, sure. Just
Oh
let's
my gosh.
build it out
Okay.
with the museum as like, that's going to start
Yeah.
today.
All right.
And then where are we going after?
Oh my gosh. If it's for me, if I'm building it for myself, if it's for me, start the day at the museum. I absolutely love, oh my gosh, there's so many good restaurants, especially in Lancaster City. I could, sing all of their praises from the rooftop. I would have to stop. I'm a huge plant person, so I would have to stop at Gallery Grow and do one of their terrarium workshops because they
Wife has done
are
this. Yeah.
they're
One.
absolutely lovely. Stop. I always have to say, stop by the Belvedere for, some cocktails or something, along those lines. I would also shout out Double C's because they have the best tacos, in my opinion, my professional opinion. In Lancaster, their pork belly tacos are just perfect
Burrito,
and a good margarita. The other people, I have to shout out Beer Hall. They're not directly located in Lancaster City, but Beer Hall Brewing. We actually just had a fundraiser earlier this year with them.
On
And-
23?
Yep.
23? Yeah.
Yep.
The old jukebox for,
Yep.
for you
That's
old
right.
Lancastrians.
That's a throwback. It
Yeah.
is.
So, and they are wonderful friends to us and such a good time. I was going to say,
Yeah, they are.
drop their website. We always have a blast when my husband and I are there. So
I'm not much of a beer drinker anymore, but that variant of beer I like. And there's actually a photo floating out there. We'll see how good Chris is of me in the original Hofbrauhaus in Germany.
Mm.
Drinking,
If anybody can find it.
is it,
Chris can find it.
what's that variant of beer?
he's
Hefeweizen?
Hefeweizen.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're very tasty.
Cool.
I'm more of a brown liquor kind of gentleman
There you go.
nowadays.
There you
So
go.
I do like that. All right. So Shawn, your day date starting at the museum. What would you do next?
Well, it would be a perfect complement to a market day. So
Mhm.
because of the hours.
Okay.
So and Tuesday hours are by appointment. So you'd have to call us and let us know you're coming. But yeah, some time at the museum, a leisurely lunch, and then go over to market for maybe lunch at the dispensing company, and then over to market for your sweet treats afterward.
Mhm. Mhm.
I like it.
Very good.
I like it. We had Market on the show a few years ago. It was cool learning about the
Yeah.
history there.
Very cool. Very cool.
So I guess last question as we wrap up talking about the Lancaster Medical Heritage Museum. How can the community support y'all and what you do?
Oh my
Obviously,
gosh.
besides just visiting.
Besides
Yeah.
visiting, yeah. I always recommend, like, if you ever want to learn more, just reach out. We're always open to questions and suggestions. And we're going to be holding hopefully a lot of fundraisers in 2026 to try to, get people in the door. We are a nonprofit, so we're operating on, mostly donation.
The money is good.
The kindness.
Money is always
You'll
good.
take people's money.
But we also try our best to make sure that, we're giving back to that community as well. So trying to make, what we do more accessible to everyone. And I think that's pretty much the biggest way.
Yeah. We'll give back with a cool fundraiser. So get on our mailing list and pay attention to when we do something, and have an opportunity to mingle and talk to us about not just medical stuff, but anything.
Yeah.
So we talk through that lens of time, talent, and treasure, and I'm to the point, blunt individual. So I get to say it, please donate money. I always love how our charity guests have a nice way of explaining it, as you should. But I, as the host, I just get to say, hey, if you have some money to give to these people who like what they do, please do it. There's a link on their site. So there's that. That's the treasure. Do you take volunteers for any of the work you do?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. And we have a lot of big projects. They're definitely more behind the scenes, but, if you have a vested interest or, you're a retired medical professional looking for something to do, like we love having people like that and resources for, people to just come in and ask questions to. A lot of our projects are going to be behind the scenes in our archives, working to get more rotating exhibits out. Yeah. So being able to display, again, like Shawn said, we have a fairly massive collection of items that, we'd love to, give a little bit of floor time to.
So that dovetails into the talents aspect.
Yes.
Right? So time to volunteer and just put some time in. But then if you have specific like medical talent, medical history training, and feel connection to this work, that's where the talents come in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were also independent study opportunity for college students. Of course, locally, Miller, we've got a lot of Millerville students who've been through, but students, one student from Boston University went through about 2 summers ago. Often students who are here for the summer, they're Lancastrians who are home for the summer, and we do have a tiny bit of money that we can offer for some summer paid internships. So the students, to your point about talents, the students are bringing talent of their perspective. Some of them will be anthropology students. Some of them will be history students. Some of them will be museum study students. And we can provide, Kira O'Neill did a marketing internship. So we can cater what the educational experience that we offer to what the students are bringing to the table. My day job, I'm a professor at Millersville, so I can supervise students in projects, or I can at least connect them if they are working with relevant faculty members, can connect them to the museum. And we've had a great experience with those students so far.
What do you teach at Millersville? I'm
in the psychology department, but I'm a neuroscience guy. So
So he's been evaluating us all.
I do not do people. I do not do people. I study vision and hearing mostly.
We'll get a full report.
Yeah.
At 3:05.
He's the guy on the website holding the brain.
I'm the guy, yeah. So if you want to reach me at Millersville, I'm the guy with the brain.
Okay. Very cool.
In the vein of supporting the work you do, if somebody has artifacts and examples and devices.
Yeah. I always say we actually have a support us page too on our website that outlines, volunteering, donations. So almost all of our donations are from local, again, retired doctors, medical professionals, or just, sometimes people who, just have stuff that they would like to donate. One of my favorite, if I had to pick another favorite child, one of my favorite exhibits that we have is actually a World War I Navy nurse's uniform. And it was dropped off. It's featured in our military medicine exhibit, and it was dropped off by a lady who was just like, oh yeah, none of my family wanted this, so I just wanted to, see if you wanted this.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's there. It's very, very cool. So yeah, I always say if you have something you are interested in donating or you think would be a great addition to our collection, reach out. I'm more than happy to take a look at it. I can't promise that we will take it, but I'm more than happy to take a look at it.
We have lots of doctor's bags and EKG machines.
Okay.
Again, in lovely wooden boxes, but ooh,
Yeah.
Don't need any.
you got a lot of them. We're good.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, very neat. This has been a lot of fun. We got one more section for y'all.
Connection cocktail.
Connection cocktail.
Oh,
However, curveball from Jeff. I have a little different.
Nothing less.
If it's okay with Erin,
Yeah.
I have a little different way I want to take Erin's connection cocktail. You can take Shawn's connection cocktail, the usual. So this will tap into your American history
Okay.
study and
Oh.
masters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So this year we're celebrating 250 years of America.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's
fantastic.
why high five you
Yeah,
for.
Yeah.
Well, right, because I'm a recently minted citizen.
oh,
Citizen.
congratulations.
September 2019. Well, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, but in the grand scheme of things, recent. And so I'm just going to throw it out over there. I think what we're going to do with some of these connection cocktails, if people would like it, and I think your game,
Mhm.
been a great guest so far, is
It's a heck of a time to ask.
Right, hey, we're live. Just putting you on the spot. That chair got hotter. So share with us something interesting about, formerly for 250 years of American history, but who would be more qualified to share an American history story than somebody with a master's in American history? I just couldn't help myself but to take the opportunity.
Okay. Any story.
The floor and microphone is yours.
Oh my gosh. You're asking for it. I was gonna say, if my mom and sister are in the chat, they're like, no, don't do this. You'll be here for like an hour and a half. Any story.
And if you want to think on it, we could have Ben do Shawn's.
Let me think on it.
Yours is far easier. So
Okay.
I'm actually going to throw Shawn.
Oh, no.
From what? So
boy,
pre-show, you were sharing with me out there in the showroom that you are a musician,
I am. Yep.
and I'd love for you to tell our listeners and watchers about the music that you perform, the bands you perform with, and where you perform, and where we might see you next.
Yep. I play in a band. One band is called the Modern Day Pharaohs, and that is still the remnants of my college band.
No way.
Yes.
Was that local?
It's local. Yeah. And I've been playing with those guys, and we'll be at the Stoner Grill in the near future. What was that? What are you giggling about?
Aaron's mom is saying, I hope your podcast is supposed to be 2 hours longer.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So Modern Day Pharaohs,
Yep.
you're performing
And
coming up.
we'll be at the Stoner Grill soon. And then another band is Salt Hill. And we play a little bit of an Irish twist. We've
That's originals.
It's about 30% originals. Okay. There's so much of an appetite for all original music sometimes.
Sure.
So we play with the fiddle out front, and you can. Oh, there we go. Nice job, Chris. Thanks. This is a nice bonus, guys.
Apple Music and stuff.
Thank you very much. And we've done.
Zootropolis with Larry's. Yep.
Yeah, Zootropolis was great. We had a great experience there. Shout out to Ben, who does sound there and did a great job with us. And it's as I was telling you earlier, it's a great town to be a musician in. And when you were one of your other questions is what local businesses would you support?
Yeah.
Greg Barley at Phantom Power in Millersville has created a great music venue out of the old skinny mini, or no, the point of view. Yeah, the old little Point of View drive-in has been brought back and turned into a really great music venue.
We gotta invite him to the show. That'd be
yes. You got to bring Greg.
Yep. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, sure.
The Pharaohs. What was the name of that band again?
The Modern Day Pharaohs. Yeah, it wasn't my idea.
It's cool. I like it. It's catchy. What kind of music is that? Like what?
We go back to like the 80s and 90s. Again, it's born of the music we were playing back then. So REM, The Replacements, anything up to when I say up to, Weezer. And,
yeah.
Look at that. We got merch going and everything. Wow.
Love it.
Yeah. And I think that's Phantom. This got to be Phantom Power.
Yeah, it looks like it. That's cool. So you're a guitar player?
Yep.
Very cool. Well, we got to come out and see you.
Thanks. Yeah.
I think Erin, you're on.
Erin's had time.
I mean,
Go.
Yeah.
I could tell you were deep in thought.
I know.
90 seconds.
Well, I was trying to think. Okay. All right. I think probably one of my favorite, and I'm going to keep it local. I'm not just going to, cherry pick. If you ever have the chance to, and again, the chat's going to go wild. If you ever have the chance to do any type of research into the culture of the Susquehannock Native peoples. So, yeah.
I'm melding with you there.
Yeah. She knows this is something that I absolutely love to study. They are just, super fascinating, and, a lot of history, especially here in Lancaster, about, the way they operated and the sheer size of, their culture and how it spanned way past Lancaster and, up into, like New York and, down past us in Maryland, and just, how absolutely, cool, their culture was, and some funny stories, that kind of tie into some of their, we'll call them misadventures, or early interactions with the colonial population in like during the colonial period. One of them was that they actually stole and learned how to use a cannon from a fort, and made it mobile. So one of the things that they did in their early interactions and, early fights with some of the colonial population was they would drag this cannon around and, be able, it was a very, early form of artillery.
Right. Well, you think, I'm no American history or any major of anything. But from what I've seen from the movies, colonial warfare was very regimented, very strict, and it was very gentlemanly. I fire at you, you fire at me, or in orderly lines.
Yeah.
And here's this Susquehannock tribe just running around with this immobile cannon. That's not the way it goes, sir. No, it goes this way now.
And just, and learning more about their culture and the way, I did a lot of research into them in college, and, how, a lot of what we're trying to study now about them, because there was no written, history. So a lot of what you're gleaning is from pottery that they would make, and how you would be able to tell, when they would interact with other native peoples in the area, because the pottery would change and they would adopt, different styles or different decorations from that, that as well.
So if they liked one tribe, one group of people that gave better pottery, and if they didn't like a group, they gave like lesser pottery.
More along the lines of like how they would make their pottery. So they would see how, another group was making pottery and then adopt some of those features or those designs into their own. And that's a big part of, being able to trace, their culture through time and, interactions and different
so my
things.
mind just always goes to what kind of tomfoolery can I create?
Right.
I'm sure that happened. It just doesn't leave artifacts the way pottery does.
Right. Yeah. I'm like thinking like, well, maybe like these guys came in and took some stuff from us. We're going to pretend we're going to trade in good faith, but I'm going to make this pot and the bottom's going to fall out. And their food will be on the ground. So,
That's right where your thought went.
It is, right? You see, now the psychologist is coming out.
We got to wrap up the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my Cliff Notes version, so that we're not here for 2 hours. Yeah.
Maybe that's another Lancaster Connects episode, learning all about the Susquehannock.
Yeah, it is.
We know we'd at least have 2 listeners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, podcast isn't 2 hours long, but we've gone our hours. So thank you so much for taking the time out. Thank you for the work you do there at Lancaster Medical Heritage Museum. We really appreciate you being here today and sharing. Sounds like a lot of fun. We're going to have to get there.
Let us know when you're coming.
Yeah, definitely. And please, in all seriousness, I mean, if you're looking for something fun to do, with Valentine's Day maybe coming around, might be a great way to plan like a fun, get out of that winter funk, date.
And it's different than anything else you're going to do.
Way different.
Yeah.
Way different.
We're going to be having some activities too. We're going to be focusing a lot on, as cliche as it is, the heart around Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
So
I see where you're going.
if you have any, fascination with that, or you just, generally want to learn, or, again, fun date day, we'll be having some events and activities around that.
That's very good. Very good. Well, thank you. Thanks for playing along.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to wrap it.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, so my sleep better tip would be really create a place of peace and sanctuary.
That's what
My
it is.
co-host interrupts my tip. No, in all seriousness, your bedroom, right? The environment that you sleep in, you do want it to be clutter-free, distraction-free, lower that temperature, blackout shades if you can, really support your body in the way it needs to go to sleep and rest so it can do all the great things your body can do. And even with all the history around sleep that we know, there's still a lot we don't, but we know those things. So lowering the temperature, blackout shades, declutter, make it a really peaceful place. Don't bring all that work to bed if you don't have to. It'll just stress you out at night. So very simple tip, a very easy tip to accomplish. And we have a lot more in our book, Sleep Better. We'll mail that to you, a free copy. Go to gardenersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better. We'll get your copy hot, fresh, off the presses to you today.
Love it. Love it. So testimonial time for Gardener's Mattress and More. Before I get into that, quick shout out to my boy, Peter Tambro there, who was tuning in from Northern New York State. Thank you, Pete, for tuning in. Testimonial came in the other day. There he is. He was talking about the awful hospital mattresses from
They are bad.
way back when. Testimonial came in for Gardener's Mattress and More here, just short and simple to the point. Drew was wonderful listening to all of the mattress needs and preferences, and was great and the key to finding out what we wanted. And then they would also recommend gardeners to others. And they said the delivery crew was great. You have a great team. This was Marty and Lynn. And actually, I'm normally on the delivery truck, but I was on the delivery truck for this one, and they had no clue that I was over to the store. So they were referencing the delivery crew. I think I did a good job. You like that?
Delivery crew was great, especially not bad. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's the show.
That's the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having a lot of fun with us today. Really appreciate you. We'll see you next Monday. Set your clock at 2:00. We'll see you then. Take care.